Daily Landsblog for the 29th of April 2019, and I am here with Richard, who is the District Chief?
District Chief?
Yeah, I was so worried if I screwed that up, you would have been so pissed off at me. Where are we actually physically right now?
We are physically in Station 323, 153 Chatham Avenue in the City of Toronto.
Right, and we're talking firefighters here, and we're talking about the first responders that were on the scene, right, for the Danforth shooting on July 22nd.
That is correct.
Right, and I was given the privilege of coming in here and speaking to a group of folks that were really affected by this, right?
That's correct. We had the crews that were here today that you were speaking to were all formally involved in that incident, hands-on.
Right, and you, though, as a district chief, you want to instill in your firefighters what when it comes to mental health?
I'd like them to know that when they experience trauma at a call or in their personal lives, that there is an avenue that they can take, that our job provides to provide the services or professional help that they can move forward and continue their day.
Now, have you experienced mental health challenges?
I have in the past, based on some of the calls I've experienced prior to being a district chief.
And did you talk about it at the time? Because the culture's changing, right?
At the time, no. At the time, it was, you're the guy, we don't talk about this stuff, move forward, carry on. We didn't talk about it.
Right, and that never leads anyplace good.
No, it doesn't.
Now, your firefighters that were the first on the scene at the Danforth, that was still an active shooting site, right?
It was made aware to us after we arrived that it still was, but we went to help the people that were injured at that one location. We had no idea that it was still an active shooting incident.
So I guess one of the things that I would say is that, I'm here today because of that specific incident. But I gotta believe that your people see stuff all the time that would qualify as devastating, as haunting, as, especially the accumulation of those things can build up.
It does, and like some of the calls I actually participate in because we're respond with the crews, and some of them I read in the narratives for the reports that are filed later, and you realize it's tough just based on the verbiage of a written report, and that's usually when we make the phone calls to ask, are the crews okay?
Right, and so the reason why I think it's important for us to talk about this, not for other firefighters who might be watching, because there's a good chance there aren't any, but everybody looks at firefighters and thinks these are the mentally strongest, the physically strongest men and women around. You can't do the job without physical and mental strength. And if you admit that you're struggling with something that you've seen, or maybe you're just a person that's struggling with depression, if you're willing to admit that, that's a huge statement to the public.
It really is, and I'm very fortunate that in my life, my wife has a medical background. I can share these calls and these type of calls with her because she has an understanding of it. Hopefully other people have that same ability, and that's a big help for me when I go home.
Okay, so I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
So as we wrap this up, I got a thing that I always say at the end, and you're going to show me up on it. Because you're going to say, I'm going to say, we are here, SickNotWeak, 24 hours a day. I would say to you, how many hours a day is fire services on for?
Well, once we arrive at work.
No, just in general, like fire service, 24 hours a day, right?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right. How many days a year?
365.
Shit, that's where you got me, man, because we're only here 364. Because
Yeah.
when I first said it on our first blog, 1,200 blogs ago, I thought, that's way cooler than saying 365.
Oh,
Thanks, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for your time, and we appreciate you being here for us today. Thank you.
That's why I put them on, just so we would say that.